What is up guys, KharmaMedic here,
and welcome back to another dose. So I'm currently in Greece right now. I'm here for the Easter holiday, and since it's so nice and sunny here, I thought I would take advantage of the weather, sit outside and make this video before I go back to England and it's all rainy and cloudy again. If you don't know who I am, my name is Nasser. I'm a second year medical student at King's College London, and I'm about to write my end of year exams in a month's time. So I've made a revision timetable and I'm going to walk you guys through how it is that I made it. Alright, so I've been making timetables for a very long time because I've had a lot of different exam periods in my life, and I find that I always make them quite efficiently and I follow them well, so it helps me spread out my studying over the exam revision period, and I make sure that I cover everything that I want to by the time the exam is here. I know that a lot of you guys will be studying for your A-levels and your IB exams now, so good luck to you and I hope you do really well, and let's just jump straight into this video. First things first, I want to say that don't think about making your exam revision timetable as some huge complicated process that is going to take forever to get done and it's going to be really hard and complicated. It's actually really simple, and once you've made your timetable, you know everything that it is that you have to do, you know what you have to do moving forward, and it just makes you feel better. Everything that you have to do is right there, and you can slowly tick things off one by one. You can get things done and the ball gets rolling. Don't put off making your timetable. It should be the first thing you do, the easiest, simplest and quickest thing. When I'm preparing for my exams at the end of the year, I like to give myself 6 weeks for sure. 6 weeks is like my safety net. I know that if I start 6 weeks before my exam, I will have enough time to cover all the material that I want in as much depth as I need to in order to do well. I've done it before where I've only had 4 weeks before my final exam, and that was really crammed for me. Studying a full year worth of content in just 4 weeks was quite close for me. I personally like to take my time, so yeah, 6 weeks is basically my minimum. Now that that's out of the way, let's get to making this timetable. So the first thing that you guys will see in my video is that I make the outline of the timetable. So I just put today's date, and then you work from there, drawing the lines for however many weeks you have until the day of your exam. This should be the easiest and simplest part. Then you want to fill in the date of your exam. This is the goal that you're working towards. This is the thing that you're going to reach at the end, and this is what you're going to be working towards. This should be clear in red or whatever color you want, in big letters, that you know the day that is coming. After you've filled in when your actual exam is, you want to fill your timetable with the things that you know for sure are going to happen. So on my timetable, I have Easter holiday, working on my student selected component essay. That's what the SSC stands for. I also have my GP and my hospital days, and I also have traveling for 1 day, which is where I am in Greece, where I'm spending my Easter holiday. I also have things like a portfolio that I have to fill out a bunch of reflections for, sign off some clinical skills, things like that. So fill in your timetable with all the things that you know for sure are going to happen between now and when your final exam is. So now that the main and concrete parts of the timetable have been filled in, we can start working on the things that are more variable, that are more subject to change, and that we have control over deciding when we want to study what. So the next thing that I do is scope out all of my subjects. So I create a subject list, and you'll see here that I have all the different modules, and underneath the modules, the different components of them. So for inflammation, there's bacterial infection, viral infection, inflammatory joint and skin diseases. Then we have aging, and if you move on a bit, there's human development, supporting life, etc. So these are all of the topics that I have to study, every single thing. And of course, within all of these yellow subjects that you see here, there's many different lectures, anywhere between like 3 and 10, maybe even 12 lectures for each of those. So as you can see, there's a lot of content that I need to study. But the beauty about making this list is that even though there's so much content that I know that I need to study, it's all written down here in one place on one page. And this makes it really easy for me to track over time how much work it is that I've done. Car passing by. How much work it is that I have done and how much work that I have left. And that's the important thing. You want to be able to track your progress over time. If you see that you're falling behind, you can speed things up and move things around. And if you see that you're on track, then good. You pat yourself on the back and you continue as you're doing. Another perk of being in Greece for the holidays is that my mum cooks me food. Check it out. Got pasta, chicken, and vegetables. So yeah, we've got some food as well. Anyway, back to the video. Once you've made this subject list, you're going to need to weight these things appropriately. And what I mean by that is that topics that you've already studied before, for example, I had 2 progress tests throughout this year, so I already studied human development and I already studied supporting life. So those subjects are going to have less weighting for me, and so they will take up less time for me in my studying schedule than inflammation and aging, which are subjects that I have not studied before. Because I want to make sure that I cover all of the material on my exam, I don't want to skip anything, I want to make sure that I've done everything at least once, I'm going to spread out inflammation and aging in between each other. I'm not going to do like 3 days of inflammation and then 3 days of aging. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. So as you can see here, I'm going to do inflammation, aging, inflammation, aging, inflammation, aging for about a week. Then after that, I want to get anatomy out of the way. Anatomy is a subject that I know is going to be very difficult and it's going to take me a lot of time to learn properly. However, it's not that likely to come up on the test. So it's something that I want to do at some point. I want to have gone through it once, but it's not so important that I have to revise it a lot continuously coming up to my exam. So I'm going to put it in here early in my revision timetable to get it out of the way. Now you guys likely won't have the exact same subjects that I'm putting here, but what I want to get across to you hopefully is the type of subjects that I'm placing in different places. Oh yeah, so this is basically a breakdown that I do. So I count how many days I have between now and the test, and I have 42 days, and there's 6 main topics, so that's 7 days per topic. So on average, I should study 7 days per topic. However, something like anatomy is going to be much less for reasons that I've explained. And then of course, human development, which I've already studied before, is also going to be less. So some topics will have more, some topics will have less, but on average, about 7 days per topic. So after anatomy, I'm going to do human development, as you guys can see, and supporting life. I'm going to sprinkle them in to the middle of my studying. I'm going to throw in the theme weeks in there just to cover them quickly. It shouldn't take me too much time. And then like I mentioned, inflammation and aging again. So by the 15th of May, as you guys can see, I will have done inflammation and aging significantly more than human development and supporting life, as those are the subjects that I haven't studied yet. I will have also done anatomy a decent amount. And now what I've written for the 16th is assess strengths and weaknesses and adjust. And this is really important as well. Right now it's the 21st of April. I don't know what's going to be going on through my mind by the 16th of May. Maybe I will know inflammation and aging super well, and I can leisurely take my time to explore supporting life and human development again. Or I'm going to feel that I'm really struggling in aging and I'm going to want to review it more and more. So that's why I leave this part of my timetable empty and sort of undefined, so that once I reach this point, I can reassess where I am. For example, now I'll show you guys on my iPad. I've already gone through inflammation and aging once. So I've already gotten familiar with those topics, or half of aging, because we haven't covered the other half yet. But I've already covered inflammation once and half of aging, so I'm becoming more familiar with those topics. So by the time I get to the 16th of May, I can reassess how confident do I feel in each of these subjects, and what do I feel like I need to spend the most time on, and that's going to guide the rest of my timetable. It's very important to not make a timetable and then just stick to it no matter what because it's something that you've written down. You want to be open to the idea of change. You want to be open to doing something different if you feel like you need to spend more or less time in certain places. So down here, a little bit later, on the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and if I'm honest, maybe even a little bit before that, what I should have there is past papers, past exams, and practice. All of this studying, all the theory that I've learned, all of the notes that I've written, all of that, it's not useless, but it's so much less valuable if I'm not doing past papers and past exams. Past papers and past exams are absolutely crucial, and they're key to performing well on exams and tests because they show you the exact nature of questions that are likely to come up on your own test. So they tell you, for example, where you should focus the most, or if I notice that there are a lot of questions on rheumatoid arthritis, then within inflammation in the rheumatoid arthritis lectures, I'm going to spend a lot of time focusing on that. And they might reuse questions or use questions that are kind of similar to the ones in past tests. So really, I can't state the importance of past tests and past exams enough. And then at the very end, I just write down a couple of things that I want myself to remember. So every day when I look at this timetable, I can read them and just keep an eye on them. You know, things like focus on clinical material. Right now in my second year of medical school, there's no point in me focusing on all the tiniest little biochemical reactions and molecules and whatever. It's just not going to come up on my exam. It's not important. So that's a reminder for myself to focus on the clinical material, the presenting complaints, the signs, the symptoms, the diagnoses, the differential diagnoses. Those are the most important things that for me to know that are going to come up on my exam. And then of course to use Quizlet. Quizlet is so great. And I think that's the end of my timetable. I also want to say, make sure you include things that you're really looking forward to or that you're really excited about at the end of your timetable. Like here I've written holiday, a smiley face, and woo. I know it sounds stupid and it probably looks super cringe, but it does help me keep motivated. It reminds me of something that's going to happen after this test, after this exam, and I don't know, it keeps me motivated a little bit. So some closing thoughts, some closing remarks about making an exam timetable and studying before your final end of year exams. There's obviously no point in making this revision timetable if you're not going to follow it at all. They help you plan out your revision looking forward. They help you have an idea of what is to come, what you've already studied, what you still have to study, and that cannot be understated. That organization, that structure, and sense of discipline that it puts in you. Like, if you're going to follow this timetable, you're going to have discipline, you're going to wake up, you're going to complete subjects. I don't know, I just find it super useful, and I highly recommend you guys make study timetables as well. And yeah, as these days pass by, as I do studying every single day, I'm gonna cross off every day, and that is like the best feeling in the world. You know that you finished a full day of studying, and it's just such a great feeling. Anyways guys, that is it for me. That is how I make my exam revision timetables. I hope that you found this video useful. If you have any questions for me at all, feel free to leave them in a comment down below. Share with me how it is that you make your exam timetables. It's probably different than mine, and maybe I can learn a thing or two from you. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. If you guys liked this video, be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe to my channel to see more videos from me in the future. Anyways, until then, I hope you're having a great time revising, hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace!